letting that charcoal glide around the page, back and forth, back and forth. You're conducting that orchestra. No pressure. Make sure you're breathing, you're having fun with it. But I'd like you, if possible, in your studio there, to step back. Put a mark down and then step back and look at it from a distance. Okay? Put a mark down, look at it from a distance. Step back. Okay, so big shape, which means the large polygon shape. This shape is an abstraction for what's there. It's the external marks, the outermost projecting points, or angles. Angles, you notice I use a lot of angles, particularly when it comes to the block shape. We start with that block shape. We start with the external and the internal. Okay, this lesson right here, this first 2 minutes or 10 minutes or however long it takes of a drawing is the most important part. Okay? In my feeling, this is what makes or breaks the drawing. It's the disegno. Okay? Wow, beautiful, Bobby. You got it. Yay! I love to see what you're doing. Very good. Mark the top and the bottom. Use the whole page. Use the whole page. Don't just use a portion of the page or get caught up in any one thing. You want to be broad and bold and just mark this abstraction. We call it an abstraction because the more you can learn to see in this fashion, the better artist you'll become. The more you'll be able to see shapes in relationship to each other, the more you'll be able to understand rhythm and gesture. Okay, this is so important. I can't tell you. In the atelier, we will do quick sketch, just doing these starts. We'll do maybe 50 a day. So we'll do like 50 starts, just like this, with the apprentices, and they'll get down that abstraction. Abstraction is everything. All right, so have you got the top and bottom on there? Have you got the sides on there? Okay, you do? I love the block. This is particularly important for sculptors because it's like, you know, when Michelangelo carved his marble, he got that Carrara marble out, right? He had to get the right size block of marble first, right? He had to get it just the right size, and then he would reveal from that block of marble. So you're not drawing anything other than a block of marble right now. This stage here, this shape articulation, is very important for an artist to see shape, okay, rather than form right away. Yes, we are going to be volumizing these shapes into structures, but not yet, okay? Not yet. Now you ask me, why do you do that? Why don't you volumize it right away? Well, if you notice as I'm drawing, it does kind of look volumetric a little bit. And the reason is because I'm overlapping lines where they should be overlapped. But I don't want to make it look too volumized too quickly because I want to see where I'm off in the measuring. So if I put in a volume right away, it's going to take my mind away from this idea of pattern. And it's going to put it into form, which is too complex if we want to get our measurements right. So if we keep it as shape or a closed polygon to start with, and we get the shapes correct, we get the measuring correct, well then as we volumize those shapes, everything's accurate. So it's a really truly, it's a tried and true method of learning and as an artist is to take it one step at a time. Can I do a volumetric drawing now just from my head? Yes, I can do that because of my experience. But if we're learning the classical approach, the approach is first to do your measure, your simple abstraction, measure it, then do simple shapes, measure it again with the shapes, okay? Measure every angle of those shapes. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. And then you're going to have such an accurate drawing that when you start to volumize it, make it more structural, it's going to be great, right? So what it basically is in the Miano method here is not biting everything off at once, all right? Not doing everything at once, doing it stage by stage. Okay, I'm going to get good at the abstraction, just stating it boldly, getting the design. Okay, I'm going to get good at putting in shapes, accurate shapes next to each other, almost like a puzzle pieces. You're fitting them together. Okay, I'm going to get good at my structures and volumizing those shapes into forms and structures. All right, you take it one step at a time. Now, after years of practice, you can put it all together, sure. But when you're learning, you shouldn't expect yourself to know everything at once. Even though I know you want to be able to just do it, But if you take a method and you just do it step by step, I'll tell you what, you're going to have a great drawing. And anybody can learn it. Anybody can do it, okay? You just have to practice the method. You're not born with the ability to just put down accurate shapes. You have to practice that. And then the measuring, that's going to come into play. That's going to keep you on track despite you being inaccurate. So it's like a check. You're going to be wrong. Just assume it. But you have to check it and you have to measure it and you have to, people skip that every time. And that's the thing that separates a good artist from a mediocre artist. A good artist just checks more, the accuracy, measures, okay? Takes the time to work at it. And doesn't quit. Right? But you got to know what to check. And so what we're doing here with the online sessions is we're providing you with the theory. This is all theory. We're providing you with the guidance. Okay, I see what you're doing. Oh, make it more this, make it more that. Measure this, measure that. That's the guidance. You can't do that on your own. But you're going to need to practice.